Stepmom falsely accused me of harming her to block my inheritance at 18. My father belaved her, neglected me, and now after 5 years my father come to know about truth. When I was 18, my life shattered in ways I never thought possible. It wasn't an accident, a tragedy, or a stroke of bad luck. No, it was a calculated lie, a venomous web spun by my stepmother, Lisa, to cut me out of the family and my inheritance. I remember the moment it all started. It was a quiet evening. I'd just come home from school, tired but hopeful, because my future seemed bright. College acceptance letters were rolling in, and my dad and I had been talking about using the inheritance from my late mother to help with tuition. But Lisa had other plans. I'll never forget her performance, tears streaming down her face, her voice trembling as she told my dad I'd pushed her down the stairs during an argument. My heart sank. It was absurd. The idea that I would ever hurt her was unthinkable. I tried to explain, to defend myself, but Lisa was convincing. She showed a bruise on her arm, swearing it was from me. My father didn't even ask for my side of the story. He looked at me, his eyes filled with disappointment and anger, and said, "How could you do this? To her? To us?" I felt like the ground had opened beneath me. I was kicked out that night. My father told me I was no longer welcome in his home until I could take responsibility for my actions. Lisa cried, begging him not to be too harsh, but the damage was done. I packed what little I could carry, leaving behind my childhood, my family, and the home my mom had left for me. The next 5 years were hell. I lived with friends at first, then moved into a dingy studio apartment when I saved enough from my part-time job. I worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs to survive. College became a distant dream, and every step forward felt like a battle. But I refused to let their betrayal define me. I worked my way up in a small tech company, proving my worth day by day. Eventually, I earned a full-time position, and with it, a sense of stability I hadn't felt in years. Still, the wound left by my father's abandonment never fully healed. Then, out of nowhere, I got the call. It was last week, a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. "Hello? It's your father." His voice was shaky, unfamiliar. For a moment, I didn't say anything. I'd dreamed of this moment, of what I'd say if he ever reached out. But now that it was happening, all I felt was anger and confusion. "What do you want?" I finally asked, my voice cold. "I need to see you. Please. It's important." Against my better judgment, I agreed. Curiosity got the better of me. We met at a coffee shop. He looked older, more tired than I remembered. He barely touched his coffee as he started talking. "I know what she did," he said, his voice heavy with regret. "What are you talking about?" I asked, though I already knew. "Lisa," he said, looking down at his hands. "She lied. She admitted it. She made up the story about you pushing her, about the bruise. She wanted to make sure you didn't get your inheritance. She thought it should all go to her and her kids." I sat there, stunned, as the words sank in. For 5 years, I'd carried the weight of his betrayal, the pain of being cast aside. And now, he was telling me it was all based on a lie. "I should have believed you," he said, his voice breaking. "I should have known you'd never hurt anyone, let alone her. I failed you." "Yeah, you did," I said, my voice trembling with emotion. "You didn't just fail me, you abandoned me. You believed her without a second thought. Do you have any idea what that did to me?" He nodded, tears streaming down his face. "I've thought about it every day. I can never undo what I've done, but I want to try to make it right." I laughed bitterly. "And how do you plan to do that? Give me back the years I lost? The family I lost? The inheritance you let her steal?" He didn't have an answer for that. "I'm divorcing her," he said finally. "I've already started the process. And I want to make sure you get what's rightfully yours." The words sounded sincere, but they felt hollow. I'd spent years rebuilding my life without him, without them. Did I even want what he was offering? "I don't know if I can forgive you," I said quietly. "I don't expect you to," he replied. "But I'll do whatever it takes to earn back your trust. If that's even possible." I left the coffee shop that day with mixed emotions, anger, sadness, even a flicker of hope. I'm not sure what the future holds for my relationship with my father. Part of me wants to shut the door and never look back. But another part of me, the part that still remembers the dad I loved before all of this, wonders if healing is possible. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time. Trust is earned, not given, and he's got a lot to prove. But at least, for the first time in 5 years, the truth is finally out.